All right, so what you'll need for the Salisbury steak meatballs is meatballs. I choose to use frozen. It makes this meal 10 times easier. You can make your own, but this works great. I will not be using this many, 6 pounds. We're just gonna be using how many we need for our family, so you'll just adjust based on your family size. So we're only having 4 grown adults eating tonight, so I will adjust it for us. This is the items that I use. We have an onion, some mushrooms, salt and pepper to taste, some cornstarch, you'll need some beef broth, and again, this is based on your family size and how many you'll be doing. So if it's only 2 of you, 1 can would probably be plenty. I use A1. A1 in Salisbury steak to me just is really good. Just has a great like steaky burger, great flavor. And then this is optional. When I have it, I add this to a lot of meat dishes. It just enhances the dish. It makes it much better. But you do not have to go out and buy this, so it's totally optional. So what I'm going to do is cut up my onion and saute it and start out sauteing my mushrooms as well. All right, so I'm just going to cook them just for a few minutes because the onions take a little bit longer than the mushrooms will. And I just have this on a medium high-ish heat. You don't want to brown them. I mean, you could, but yeah. So I'm just gonna let these cook for a few minutes. All right, so I'm just gonna add the mushrooms, and this is optional, but I love cooked mushrooms. And you could just add a little bit less if you just want to have a little bit of a flavor, but it's so good. And it looks like a lot, but mushrooms cook down a lot. So it wasn't quite the full container. I saved the other half for spaghetti. Alright, so I've been cooking it just for a couple minutes and they look amazing. I love mushrooms and onions. So I'm actually going to put these in a bowl. This is completely optional. I have plenty of time before our dinner. Like 2 hours, so I'm just getting it started. Alright, so I'm going to add, alright, so in my pan, I still have all of the flavors and stuff in there, so I'm adding my beef broth, and I'll need to do the other can, but if you do 2 cans, leave out half of the can for the cornstarch mixture, and then I'm just going to put a nice little splash of red wine. You could use real wine if you wanted to. And maybe I should put my meatballs in there first so I don't splash myself. And I'm going to let these simmer. So I'm going to bring it up to a boil. And then I'm just going to let these simmer until they're pretty much cooked. I mean, they're already cooked, but I mean, so they're not frozen anymore. I'm just going to let these simmer. Put the lid probably about 20 minutes or so. Ooh, and I'm pretty sure longer would be better to infuse that flavor into the meatballs. And I would say like 6 meatballs per person is a good count, but we like to have leftovers. I don't know if we'll have any leftovers, but they won't fit. All right. So I'm going to put the lid on and then let this come to a boil and then let it simmer. Alright, to make the slurry, we're going to take a little bit of the beef broth, or if you don't have anything, just use water. It just has to be a cold liquid. You cannot mix cornstarch and hot liquids, which is crazy to me. Whoa. Stuff just started boiling. So I'm just gonna put like 2 teaspoons in here. And once you get this dissolved, trust me, if you do this in hot, it will not dissolve. It will stay clumpy. Alright, just wanna make sure that it's not stuck on the bottom. Now if you find that it's not thick enough throughout the cooking process, just add some more cold water or more broth and more cornstarch. So just stir that up. Alright, so you can see that it's definitely thickening up because of the bubbles are a lot like thicker and slower. So, and I'm going to add in probably, I don't know, I never really measure. Probably like 4 teaspoons. Yeah. And then I'm going to add in my vegetables. So it was a whole pot and now it's just like a really small amount. It's not that much. It smells so good. Alright. So I'm going to let this sit for a few minutes just to thicken up some more. I did add 1 more teaspoon with a little bit more broth of the cornstarch. And I will check it in a few minutes. I'll add some salt and pepper. And I'll put that back. Okay, so it's not as thick as I like, but it is nice and thick. So I'm going to add just 1 more teaspoon with some broth. So this was a total of 3.
I'm not having it.
So this was a total of 4 teaspoons. And if it gets too thick, all you have to do is add water or beef broth and thin it out. Alright, so that is beautiful. So much easier than making the patties and, you know, cooking the patties. This is, you just put everything in the pan and let it cook. It smells so good. So we just served this over mashed potatoes. You could do rice as well. So I have my mashed potatoes cooking, or my potatoes cooking, and then it'll be time to eat. And we're going to have it with a nice big Caesar salad. And there's our dinner. Salisbury steak meatballs with some Caesar salad and a dinner roll. It is amazing.